Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm bringing another video today of Blackout. So this is just a win that I got last night with the SWAT, which is a gun that I've had my ups and downs with. When the game first started, I thought it was kind of okay, I guess, and then as I got to 3-4 days of playtime, I just realized that I absolutely hated it. That right there is the perfect example of why you need to get a good jump out of the plane. I had a great jump. I mean, no one else dropped with me, but I had a good jump, and he just had a terrible jump. He was so late to the party. I mean, I was already there and been on the ground for like 10-15 seconds. So that's importance of getting a great jump and, at least perfecting the jump. Now, I had heard someone over here, so obviously I'm coming over with some caution. And he ends up being up there. I did see him jump, so I'm going to go for him, and then he comes up here, and I get a nice little kill on him. I'm not really sure what happened here, if the concussion damaged him, or I'm not really sure how that worked. Because he took like no bullets. I mean, watch how many bullets he takes. It was like 4 bullets. 4 or 5 bullets is all he hit. So I don't know what the deal with that was. But, and this is one of the things I need to work on most on my game. And obviously I'm still not that good. So, this looting right here is horrendous. I should be able to glance already at that and decide what I'm going to take. That was way too long in that bag. Just way too long. But the SWAT is a gun that I've had my ups and downs with. Once I had a few days of playtime, I realized that I absolutely hated it with a fiery passion. I hated it. In fact, it was so bad that every time I saw it on the ground, it basically flipped it off in my mind. It was like, screw you, SWAT. You suck. Like, I was just so mad. The gun is just so bad. Oh, accidental fire. I'm sure we've all done that. And still, up until this day, now I've been playing for a couple weeks. I put in a couple more days of playtime, and after watching Speros, if you guys don't know who he is, Speros, Speros, one of my friends turned me on to him, and he's really good. And he was talking about gun mastery and how he doesn't switch guns in Blackout, really. He uses like 2 to 3 guns, and he'll pick those up and take those every time, and he doesn't really branch out from those. And the reason for that is so that you can learn to basically master a gun. And that, coupled with something that I heard from Sean P1, who's also a really incredible player, really up-and-comer. He's got about 20,000 subscribers, but really just started blowing up. Again, same friend turned me on to him. I don't really watch Call of Duty content, honestly. I'd rather play than watch other people play, so I've never really been a big fan of, like, watching Call of Duty content. But, yes, Sean P1 is an animal. He is... I mean, he's so good, it's ridiculous. I've watched him watched him go solo quads and fight 2 teams basically at one time, and in the fog, like the quads fog. I mean, just absolute animal. But he said the same thing, which was something that I hadn't thought about. He was like, hey, when you use a gun, go on a practice range, go into private or whatever, and just use the gun for a while. Put on as many bots as you can, and just practice using the gun for a while, which, I mean, that's something I always have known, but I've never really implemented in any of my games that I've played throughout the years. And but what he said that caught me by surprise was he said, learn to control the recoil, blah, which of course I thought he meant just like, hey, learn how. Why this guy tries to run me down? It's so bad. I don't do anything to him here. I mean, late slide. I'm lucky. It was just his bad that he didn't kill me there. But he said something about using the stick to actually correct for the recoil as you're shooting for long periods of time. And for whatever reason, that just never connected in my head. I never thought to do that. So I was never doing that when I played. And, for example, the Rampart, which used to be my favorite gun, I had a specific moment where I was using it one game. And it just, like, the guy was running left to right. And he was, I don't know, maybe 100 meters or something. I'm shooting at him, and I hit the first, like, 3-4 bullets. And then I just missed every shot after that. And so for whatever reason, after using that gun for so long, and I was going to pick up that MX-9 there, but I decided, like, we're kind of already late in the game. There's only a quarter of the people left. I'm not going to pick up a gun and start looking for attachments and stuff for it. So I was like, I'll just keep the MP40. Not going to waste my time with that. But he was running left to right, and I'm shooting at him, and I hit him with the first 4 or 5 bullets, and then I just missed every shot. And for whatever reason, it was sort of intuitive. I just stopped shooting and just single burst as he was running across, and I hit him with like 3 straight bullets without missing any. And I was just like, wow, that is Oh, you know what? I just saw that guy go into that building right now in the replay. I didn't notice that before. So, yeah, I mean, and so I just thought, like, recoil control, you know, like, shoot, and then, you know, shoot some shots after, and single fire, be accurate. But the problem with this one is he said he basically corrects for the recoil. So as he shoots, like, a full clip, basically, he's mashing down on the stick to drop the gun. And this is that was so bad. And then this is a good kill, though. There he was. I hear him turn around. Again, he didn't take very many bullets either. You know, 150 damage within just a second there. So that just sort of made me think, like, okay, maybe I should look at some other guns that I've used in the past before and maybe didn't like, because if you can learn to control the gun, then, you know, that makes perfect sense. If you can, because, you know, the problem for me is, like, those long engagements where you're shooting a lot and stuff, and you can't seem to hit shots. You know, that seems to be my problem, is the aim. And I've played 10 and a half days, so it's not like I haven't played it very much. I mean, a few hundred hours, you should be able to aim relatively decently, but it wasn't working. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try that. And so I stuck with the ICR, which has always been my go-to for at least the last 5-6 days. And it was working a lot better, but I've just had a lot of, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. I've had a lot of games where I can do a lot of damage. I constantly get games with a lot of damage where I don't get a lot of kills, or games where I die and stuff like that. So I've picked up the SWAT a few times the last couple days, and it's worked out okay. See, like that? See how the gun's just absolutely all over the place? And I sort of got to it there, but, you know, again, missed a bunch after that. So I don't know. It was cool. I picked it up and decided I was just going to use it, and I was going to try to, you know, make it work. And that was what Speros was talking about. And I watched him play a couple games with it where he just was lasering guys and not really missing too much. And I thought, you know, there's no reason why I can't do that. And, you know, of course, just to pick up a gun and use it for, like, a couple hours is not going to get you where you need to be as far as mastering the gun. But, you know, this game is the reason I'm uploading this one. I mean, first of all, it's a win, and I really don't win that often, as much as I wish I didn't, or as much as I wish I did win more. I don't win that often. So, I've won, like, 2 games recently when I wasn't recording, which is unbelievable because I record every game, or almost every game, but it just seems like when I don't record, I end up winning. It's happened a couple times recently, but... So this one just felt right. I mean, you know, not necessarily... Like, once I got that kill on the stairs back there on that building, I thought, like, okay, you know, my shots are hitting pretty well, you know. And here, this is another time I'm looking to my right because I'm worried about that, and then I hear him coming to the left, or behind me now. I'm like, oh, there you go. So I shoot, miss him a couple times. And then this guy, as you see, I missed the first couple, but then I just connect. And I didn't really adjust my aim too much there. I more strafed to the left after I started missing those shots because trying to aim from, you know, it's a weird angle and stuff. So this is a much better loot right here. Just the meds. That's all I wanted. This one's bad. I didn't realize it at the time in the game, but when I was in there, I swapped for the backpack, and I didn't know what I had swapped. So I was kind of freaking out there for a second, trying to figure out what I swapped. Because I didn't know, you know, I obviously heard it change, but yeah, so, and especially right there, again, I thought, okay, my shots are hitting, like, the gun's working, it feels pretty good, actually, and then the last few kills I get, the last 4 kills I get are just so much better, like, they're just money, and the last one, you know, the last kill, and the other thing, too, like, I'm watching a lot of these guys, and I see that their shots are not perfect, you know, they might have really good aim, but it's not like they're not missing shots. You know what I mean? So that's kind of part of it for me is like I feel like I'm a perfectionist, so I feel like I don't want to miss any shots. But, you know, even the best of the best guys are missing shots. Now, I knew someone was over here. I mean, the circle's closed like that. There's lots of cover here. It's inside the fence. I knew there was somebody over here. But as I get over here, I start looking up, and I'm like, man, there's stairs there. There's lots of high ground. I'm super, super unfamiliar with this area. I've only been here, like, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times. So then I'm looking at the tower, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not even going to mess with that. I don't even want to deal with whoever's over there. And I knew there was someone over there. I mean, obviously, I'm just continually checking, because I know he's over there. And he does eventually come out, but I couldn't hear him or anything. I just, you know, you get that feeling. You're like, yeah, there's a guy over there for sure. Now, with only 10 people left, And you got to be. And I also was thinking there's going to be a guy camping up here somewhere. Like, usually that rock to my left, that big giant rock sticking out of the ground, is a huge place where lots of people like to camp. So I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to die over here. Which would be typical for me. This is, and see, there's that guy. I'm like, no, not now, maybe. A little too far away. But you see that? Lasered the guy. I don't even know if I missed any shots right there. And I'm like, yeah, nah. I'm not even going to worry about the loot. I've already got a bunch of med kits, level 3. I've got the gun I want. Like, no big deal. So I move on and go to this. Now, it's just, I feel like, you know, there's so many parts to Blackout, and the part that's so hard about it, just like every other battle royale, is literally every single gunfight is always different. So, you know, I've played 10 days, 10 and a half days, like 1,800 games or something like that, and literally every game is different. And not only every game is different, every interaction is different. You know, every little gunfight that you get in with any single person is always different. And it's, you know, there's different things to do based on the moment. I'm really good at being passive and, you know, playing it safe, which I used to do a lot in order to get to the top 10s, because I was getting that far all the time, and I just figured, like, eventually I'd start winning, and that's basically what happened. But I never really took a lot of fights, never really took a lot of engagements, and so that leads me to where I am now, which is, like, this last few days of playtime after I took, you know, a 2-month break or whatever. I came back, and I've been much more aggressive now. After watching so many people play on YouTube, I've been much more aggressive, and it's just like, hey, you know, I've got to get better. My aim's got to get better. My gunfight skills have got to get better, because, you know, the difference in a gunfight is when you push, there's just so many different variables. How much damage you did to somebody, how much they did to you, what equipment you have, what gun you have, how comfortable you are with that, how late it is in the game, where's the circle, are you in the zone, do they have a car, do they have mesh mines, is there another guy coming up on you? Like, there's all these different variables, and you really have to think about them on the fly, and really the only way to get better at them is just repetition. You know, just like anything else you do, is just practice and repetition. So playing the game just repeatedly, it's extremely frustrating for me to play, because I just lose, I mean, every game. You know, my win percentage is 3%, which means that this is a crazy gunfight, and this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. Okay, so I have a grenade. Brilliant move on his part. That was, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he ran right back. Like, he knew where I was going to throw that. And then I threw the stun, tried to make a move. He moved. And you'll see here, you know, this is where I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the gun, you know. Using a gun I'm not using. He's in a head glitch, and I knew right there all my shots were off. And I was like, okay, if I don't do something different here, I'm not going to win this fight, because he's just, yeah, same there, see? So I'm just like, man, I can't, it's like, I can't do this. So exactly this, like, every fight's different. You know, he's getting me, and at this point right here, I know he's going to push me, so I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to try to heal again. That's exactly what I did, and he hit me a couple times, but I ended up getting him, and that was the difference right there. And, you know, a lot of people would say should have pushed earlier. Yeah, maybe. And a lot of people would say should have healed up. But you know what? If I healed up, then he gets the jump on me, because I'm sitting still, and he comes to me. Whereas in this case, and again, they're good loot, just the ammo. I knew I didn't, I mean, I probably should have picked up those, the clusters. I don't think I saw them in game. And also, you know, my inventory was a little bit bloated, so I didn't really have, I had like 20 whites hanging out, so I didn't have any space for them. But, you know, at that moment, it was the right call. And see, I hit a bunch of shots there, and the guy's like, nah. So at that moment, I made the right call to not heal up. And I only had 65 health, but I just felt like that was the right move, and it was. And he came up to me, and I stared right down the barrel and lit him up. And that's how it worked. And, you know, you'll never know that. You know, you watch guys play who are really, really good, and they do things that are not necessarily going to be relevant to you, because if your skill level is so much less than theirs, like mine is, there's only so much you can learn from those guys. And so, you know, what I learned from watching them so much is just like, you have to play loose. You know, you can't really play, like stiff. And, you know, at this point, this is the exact point in this game where I realized that, because I was just like, you know, I get to the top 5. It's happened a lot recently. I've gotten to the top 5 maybe almost as much as 10 times recently, and I haven't won any of them. And yeah, I see him on the roof, but I'm not gonna engage it from here. That's a death sentence. I mean, you're not gonna. And so at this point, I'm worried about 2 guys to my right, or well, I'm worried about 2 spots to my right. That immediate rock that's 10 feet in front of me, and then that rock that's, you know, whatever, 100 feet in front of me. I'm worried about guys coming from both of those. And I'm almost certain there's a guy on this side, because that guy's over on the far left, and he's not shooting over there. So I'm almost certain that the guy's over here to my right. He ends up being over here, not directly here, but... So I was getting to these top 5s all the time, and I just kept losing. And I thought, like, there's really, you know, if I'm getting to the top 5s, and that'll be one of my upcoming videos, and that's the guy right there. See, again, lasered him. That'll be one of my videos, is me getting to the top, getting to the one-on-one, number 2, and losing with the rainbow camo on the KN. So I had a 9-kill game, and I didn't even win. And I just realized, like, you know, the only difference there is that I'm way more tense at this point in the game. And there I see him. And here we go again. Is the right move. I don't engage him right away. I decide to push him. He's still there. And I'm not hitting my shots, so I decide I got to push him again. Don't expose myself to that window. Come up on him. And as you see, I'm missing a little bit. But I corrected the last second. And I didn't know I was going to hit that shot, but he threw a grenade. And I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. So, you know, it's weird watching it back because I know exactly my thought process in-game. And also, I look at it now and I think, you know what? Those are probably the right calls. And all this was with a gun that I really don't have much playtime with at all. So I just think, like, you know, if it had been an ICR or something like that, it would have been even easier. But I don't know, man. So, wow, that's weird. I definitely didn't plan to talk through that whole video, I promise. But, yeah, so that was my stats from the game, 1566. As you can see there, my last 3 games, 966, 919, 1566 damage. Like, I'm doing a lot of damage. I just wasn't getting a lot of kills, wasn't getting any wins or anything. So, this was just sort of a good game, and it was a good end of the night. This was the last game I played last night, and it was just perfect to end on that note. So, thank you guys for being here and checking it out. Appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.